peace of mind. Don't practice the poison technique anymore. It can easily backfire. Wu Dai smiled sweetly, feeling joyful inside. She held the peeled orange and brought it to your lips, saying, "Thank you, master." You opened your mouth and bit the orange. Unexpectedly, Wu Dai's fingers moved forward a bit. Her warm fingertips touched the corner of your lips. Hee. Wu held her finger in her mouth, playfully smiling. Seeing this, Su Chinku was displeased. She glanced at the enchanting woman's proud assets, then looked down at her own budding bosom, and said angrily, "She is seducing you." "Hey, you waved your hand." "Exaggerating, Chinku. You are too sensitive." Wu Dai provocatively lifted her chin, gave Su Chinku a triumphant look, and picked up a grape, gently feeding it into your mouth. Su Chinku stomped her foot and spat. "A rebel subordinate. You still have doubts on you that haven't been cleared. Don't be too arrogant." "How am I being arrogant?" Wu Dai's tone was pitiful. She pouted in grievance. "I am grateful for the master's great kindness. Willing to be a slave. Always proper and respectful. I don't know why Sister Su is wrong me." "Master, please stand up for your servant." You chuckled inwardly, but your expression remained unchanged and said, "Chinku, don't bully Sister Wu Dai. She just arrived. She doesn't know many rules. Be more tolerant." Su Chinku's pretty face turned livid with anger. She turned around in a huff, but then thought again. Just leaving like this, wouldn't that be admitting defeat? You sly fox. How can this sword immortal lose to such a person? Thinking of this, Su Chinku followed suit, kneeling on the other side of you, picking up a strawberry and feeding it to you. "Master, eat my strawberry." Wu Dai, not to be outdone, fed you a grape. "Master, eat my grape." Su Chinku glared at Wu Dai, feeding you a cherry. "Master, eat my cherry." "Master, eat my orange." "Eat my bitter melon." "Eat my durian." You originally just wanted to watch the show, but you finally realized something was wrong. The two women held you down, your mouth stuffed full. Seeing Chinku bringing a shelled durian to your mouth, you hurriedly waved your hands and mumbled, "I'm scared." At this moment, Dongfang Li returned, entering to see the two women kneeling beside you, eagerly feeding you fruit. Dongfang Li crossed her arms, leaned against the door frame, and sneered. "Minister Ming is truly blessed. Do you need me to serve you as well? After all, your official rank is higher than mine now. Being just a live-in son-in-law is too wrong for you. Shouldn't you have 3 or 4 wives, and go to the theater for some fun occasionally? Don't you think?" Cold sweat broke out on your forehead. The jealousy in her voice was thick enough to mix with noodles. You immediately pushed the two women aside, stepped forward and grabbed your Empress wife's hand, and said attentively, "It's all their nonsense. My lady, you've had a long day. How about I help you relax a bit?" Seeing the Empress, the two women wilted, not daring to continue their antics, lowering their heads and not daring to look at Dongfang Liuli. "Relax? What does that mean?" Dongfang Liuli tilted her head cutely and asked in confusion. "Simply put, it's about helping you relax your muscles and relieve fatigue." You smiled sincerely. Dongfang Liuli became interested and said, "Then let's try it." "How do we do it?" You said, "Simple. You just lie on the chaise lounge and leave the rest to me." Hearing this, Dongfang Liuli had no doubts and obediently lay on the chaise lounge, her chin resting in the crook of her arm. "I'm ready." Then, you placed your hands on Dongfang Liuli's back and slowly began massaging. Wu Dai and Su Chinku stood by, curiously watching as you applied more pressure, massaging from the shoulder blades down the spine and down to the pelvis. Oh ha! It was the first time Dongfang Liuli had been touched so boldly by a man, so brazenly. Her pretty face turned bright red, Her crystal-clear earlobes turned into red agate. Wisps of steam rising from her head. Stop, stop it. Dongfang Liuli scolded angrily, just about to get up, but you held down her jade-like shoulder, and a gentle voice said, "Don't move! We're not done yet." Dongfang Liuli's face was flushed with both embarrassment and anger, afraid that resisting too much might hurt your fragile body, so she had to speak gently. I don't want it anymore. Please let me get up. The first time does hurt a bit, but once you get used to it, it feels good. You reassured her, focusing intently on the massage. Dongfang Liuli wanted to argue, but as soon as she opened her mouth, her words turned into uncontrollable gasps. She instinctively covered her mouth, glancing at Su Chengku beside her. But Su Chengku and Wu Dai were both watching curiously, shyly covering their faces, peeking through their fingers at your massage technique, completely ignoring the Empress's signals. Even the experienced sun god was startled. Well, I really underestimated you, kid. Pressing the Emperor onto a chaise lounge and forcibly being so bold. You are the first in history. I bow to you. The sun god looked at you with admiration. He had lived for tens of thousands of years and had never seen such an extraordinary young man. Impressive. Truly impressive. Gradually, Dongfang Liuli stopped making noise, burying her face in her arm, wisps of steam continuously rising from her head. Her delicate body trembled occasionally. After a full half an hour, you rubbed your arms, patted Dongfang Liuli's fair, jade-like shoulder, and said confidently, "All done. Doesn't it feel great? All your fatigue must be gone." Saying this, you smiled and looked at Wu Dai and Su Chengku. Well, how about it, 1048? Do you want to try it? Su Chengku was so scared she took a step back, shaking her head like a rattle drum. No, no, no! However, raised her hand, her face full of eagerness. I want to. What are you thinking? Su Chengku pressed Wu Dai down, covering her mouth. Just as you were still immersed in your exquisite technique, a figure silently stood behind you. You rubbed your fingers, a faint fragrance lingering on your fingertips, marveling in your heart. My wife's skin feels really good. It feels like it could squeeze out water. Suddenly, a voice filled with reproach came from behind you. Does it feel good? Not bad. You nodded honestly. Soft, smooth, and tender. The sensation is absolutely wonderful. You suddenly realized something. Cold sweat broke out on your forehead. There seems to be no concept of massage in this world. My wife might think I was being improper with her in front of the maids. It's a misunderstanding. Listen to me explain. You cried out, ready to escape. Dongfang Liuli's eyes were sharp and her hands were quick. She grabbed your ear, dragging you towards her bedroom, saying as she walked, "There's nothing to explain. Come, follow me inside, and face the family law." Immediately, miserable screams echoed from the Empress's bedroom. In the courtyard, Wu Dai asked quietly, "What punishments are there in the family law?" Su Chengku counted on her fingers. Bamboo strips soaked in salt water for whipping the back. A whip engraved with thunder runes for hitting the hands. A hopeless illusion. Then the master must be in for a tough time. Wu Dai murmured softly, a bit worried. Su Chengku also felt a bit uneasy, and said, "The master did behave inappropriately with the lady. We are too insignificant to stop it." At the Qin residence, the lights were brightly lit all night. Someone's pig-like screams echoed throughout the night. Until noon the next day, you appeared in the courtyard unharmed, still feeding and walking the dogs as usual, watering flowers and planting vegetables. Wu Dai watched in amazement. Wasn't he supposed to face the family law? The master seems fine. Could it be some special kind of family law? Wu Dai had a strange look, with a mischievous smile. What do you mean? Su Chengku asked curiously. Wu Dai leaned over and whispered in Su Chengku's ear for a while. The latter blushed and stepped back several steps, spitting, You, a woman? How can you speak such filthy words? P.S. You were just listening intently with your ears perked up. Wu Dai said. You rubbed your waist and back. In fact, last night Dongfang Liuli just gave you a symbolic punishment, lightly hitting your palms with a bamboo stick twice. Then Dongfang Liuli felt sorry for you, not only applying ointment, but also blowing on your palms with her mouth out of concern. The reason for the screams was that Dongfang Liuli, feeling indignant, decided to return the favor by using your own method against you. She forcefully pressed you down on the bed, violently giving you a massage, almost breaking your bones in the process. You realized that your wife was quite skilled in household chores, but in this aspect, she was a bit clumsy, which contrasted cutely with her usual wise and calm demeanor. It was rather adorable. At that moment, a delayed system notification sound finally rang in your ears. Ha! Successfully suppressed the Destiny protagonist Zhao Gu, reducing Zhao Gu's luck by 1,000 points. Received plunder reward. Emperor level constitution, great fortune body. Destiny protagonist Zhao Gu's luck value has dropped below 1,000, losing the protection of the heavenly Tao. Remaining luck value, 1,700. Your body shook, and then your bones cracked. All your acupoints began to spin wildly, devouring the spiritual energy of heaven and earth like a black hole. Even the sunlight was intercepted, forcibly converted into cultivation. Great fortune body. For the first time, you showed a look of shock. Your excitement was beyond words. An emperor-level constitution, rarely seen in ages. The last owner was the Yandao Emperor Dingzhen 10,000 years ago, who rode the ancient divine beast, the dragon blood leopard, and was invincible in his time. The great fortune body not only significantly boosts combat power, allowing you to easily fight across realms, but it also aids in your cultivation. Even lying still, your body continuously absorbs spiritual energy, converting it into cultivation. In other words, from now on, you just need to bask in the sun and bathe in the moonlight. Lying down without doing anything, and your cultivation will steadily improve. Moreover, with your blind sword saint system, by sealing your eyes and divine sense, you can grow stronger. With both combined, you couldn't imagine how fast your cultivation would improve. Now, within half a year, you will surely break through to the moon radiance realm. Great! So great! You're in an extremely good mood. Humming a tune, you took out a bag of dog food, deciding to give the big yellow dog an extra meal. Then, under the horrified and confused gaze of the sun god, you poured the entire bag of dog food into the dog bowl, piling it high. You laughed happily, gently patting the big yellow dog's head. The sun god looked at the pile of dog food higher than itself, then at your chilling smile. Its face fell instantly. Did I make a mistake? Is this my last meal? The sun god looked at the seemingly ordinary young man with no cultivation fluctuations and felt a chill. Vaguely, the sun god sensed that the young man in front of it had a faint resemblance to an ancient true dragon, both giving it an absolute bloodline suppression, making it instinctively submit. You, of course, had no idea what the big yellow dog was thinking. You were silently calculating your combat power. Although your cultivation was still at the latency overturning realm, your overall combat power had increased by several times. Now, you could easily defeat early Moon Radiance Realm cultivators. As for Mid-Moon Radiance Realm, it was hard to judge, but escaping should not be a problem. Meanwhile, at the border of the Great Jin Dynasty, in the Zhangxian Mountains, Qin Fenghu, using his divine power, led the army to break through the outer perimeter of the Zhangxian Forbidden Zone. Hundreds of thousands of cultivator soldiers, like heavenly soldiers, marched forward. Whether it was strange beings or hidden experts, all who did not submit were killed. In a hidden area in the inner circle, a teleportation array suddenly shone brightly. A blood-soaked Zhao Gu, with a spear piercing his chest, His internal organs nearly shattered. What happened? Zhao Yuhuan turned his head. Seeing this, he quickly took out an extremely expensive pill and gave it to Zhao Gu. Zhao Gu's weak aura improved a lot with the help of the healing elixir. His life was no longer in immediate danger. He said with difficulty, "Father, my innate physique seems ... seems." Zhao Yuhuan asked in confusion. "Keep talking." Zhao Gu's eyes almost bulged out. Angrily, "My physique is gone. I led troops to intercept the enemy as ordered, to slow down the court's advance. During the battle, the great fortune body I awakened at the age of 20 vanished into thin air. My combat power plummeted instantly. I was severely injured by the enemy, and the soldiers I led were all wiped out." Hearing this, Zhao Yuhuan was also stunned. In all his years, it was the first time he had heard of such a bizarre event, where an innate physique disappeared out of thin air. Zhao Yuhuan's face was strange, saying, "You're not trying to cover up your failure, are you? And deliberately made up an excuse?" In the past, Zhao Yuhuan would have unconditionally believed Zhao Gu, but now Zhao Gu had repeatedly failed. He had already been labeled as incompetent in Zhao Yuhuan's mind. Making up lies to save face was something he could probably do. Zhao Gu's eyes widened. Seeing the doubt in Zhao Yuhuan's eyes, he immediately spat out a mouthful of blood in anger and roared, "Is that how worthless I am in your eyes?" Zhao Yuhuan remained silent, giving him a sideways glance, his eyes filled with doubt and scrutiny. "Don't you have any idea about your recent performance?" I arg. Zhao Gu's eyes bulged, spitting out 3 liters of blood, collapsing in anger, his cultivation plummeting rapidly from the peak of the Tangyun realm down to the mid-Tangyun realm. That day, the news spread like wildfire throughout the Great Jin dynasty. The news that Prince Zhao Gu's great fortune body mysteriously vanished, and his cultivation plummeted, leaving him bedridden. Zhao Yuhuan was anxious, deciding to launch an all-out assault on the Zhangxian Forbidden Zone in 7 days, to fight the court's encircling army to the death. He planned to send Zhao Gu away from the Great Jin dynasty to seek famous doctors. In an instant, the rebel army from Shu was in an uproar, but no one was afraid. Each one was excited, roaring to the sky. These soldiers had been brainwashed by the king of Shu, believing that the Empress had been deliberately suppressing Shu and increasing taxes. They all longed to let the people of Shu live on the land of Great Jin, to let their families live a good life. 1 day later, the birthday banquet of Qin Liuli, the first empress in the history of Jin, arrived as scheduled. The empress pardoned the world and celebrated with the people. Various resources were distributed across the land. Every citizen of Jin received their share, from cultivation resources to food and clothing. Everything was provided. The whole country was in high spirits. A scene of prosperity. Neighboring countries sent envoys one after another, some riding flying boats, others on massive beasts that blotted out the sky. They entered the Jin dynasty, hovering around the capital. They came to congratulate the Empress on her birthday as the only consort of the Empress, and the official consort, Meng Qingzhou, was unable to attend due to illness. This disappointed many scheming envoys from neighboring countries. After all, who wouldn't want to see the rumored crippled and powerless Meng Qingzhou, and what charm he had to win the Empress's heart? In the imperial palace of the capital, in the Golden Throne Hall, today's Empress, dressed in the majestic 9 dragons and 9 phoenixes robe, with a trailing skirt, her long, straight, fair legs, ascended the throne unhurriedly. She turned around and gracefully sat down. Dongfang Liuli's cold and beautiful phoenix eyes scanned the hall, at the civil and military officials kneeling on the ground, and the group of foreign envoys kneeling in the center. Her red lips parted slightly. "Rise!" She glanced around. but didn't see your figure. Qin Liuli felt a bit puzzled, wondering if you were still sleeping in 1348. Although you did not attend her birthday banquet, the Empress was not angry. Instead, she felt a bit happy inside. No matter what the Empress thought, you simply didn't care. You dared to skip the Empress's birthday banquet. But if it were Dongfeng Liuli's birthday as an ordinary person, you would definitely cook a lavish meal and wait for her to come home. In this world, only Dongfeng Liuli without her Empress identity mattered to you. Thinking of you, Dongfeng Liuli's mood inexplicably improved. The civil and military officials also noticed the absence of Minister Meng, but no one dared to question it. Everyone kept their eyes down and pretended not to see. Some old foxes who had been in the court for years exchanged glances and finally came to a conclusion. Minister Meng had been drained dry. As the Empress's consort, he was bedridden on her birthday. The answer was obvious. Understandable. Understandable. The personal maid, Su Qingku, dressed in splendid attire, stood beside the throne and said, "Envoys of various nations, step forward to pay homage to His Majesty. We pay our respects to the great Jin Empress." The envoys did not dare to be negligent. They quickly bowed and saluted. The prestige of the great Jin dynasty had grown immensely in recent years, all thanks to the Empress's civil and military achievements. The surrounding countries had almost all been defeated by the Empress. The Empress had the ambition to unify the world, liking to use war to support war, believing that all the lands she set her eyes on should belong to her. Such a domineering hero. Impressive and formidable. Who would dare to underestimate her? The envoy from Young Kingdom, receiving the Empress's decree, offered 10 supreme heavenly grade spiritual treasures and 10,000 first-grade tamed exotic beasts. To celebrate the birthday, the envoy from Lingshuo Kingdom, receiving the Empress's decree, seeded 3 cities and a spiritual energy lake. To celebrate the birthday, in the court, congratulations never ceased. The officials of the great Jin dynasty, being the officials of a heavenly dynasty, looked proud. They despised these small neighboring countries and considered their gifts unworthy, not to mention the lofty Empress herself. But at that moment, the sunlight over the capital was suddenly obscured, plunging the world into gloom. People looked at the sky in confusion. Countless strong cultivators flew up from all over the capital, glaring at the sky. They saw a beast that blotted out the sky, breaking through the clouds, revealing a ferocious turtle head. Its head alone was the size of a city. Its body was boundless, hidden in the layers of the void. Its long neck pierced through the void. This sea-suppressing turtle, it is said to have a trace of Xuan Wu bloodline. But wasn't the sea-suppressing turtle clan supposed to be extinct? A sea-overturning realm demon. What a terrifying aura. Look! There's someone standing on the sea-suppressing turtle's head. Who could it be? To use a sea-overturning realm demon king as a mount? The sea-suppressing turtle is naturally proud and violent. If that person's strength didn't truly subdue it, it would never let him stand on its head. Countless strong cultivators flying in the air were knocked down by the breath of the sea-suppressing turtle, falling like raindrops. A young man in black stood on the head of the sea-overturning realm demon king, the sea-suppressing turtle. With a faint smile, he said, "Don't be alarmed. I am Wang Tang, Minister of War of the Great Qin Dynasty, here to congratulate the great Jin Empress on her birthday." Upon hearing this, the powerful cultivators who were about to make a move stopped their actions. The great Qin Dynasty was also an immensely powerful nation, in some aspects, even slightly surpassing the great Jin Dynasty. However, the two countries were far apart and had no conflicts or interests in recent years. It is said that the ruler of the great Qin Dynasty, before reaching the end of his lifespan, successfully broke through to the half-step Kayahui realm. Moreover, there are rumors that the previous 2 rulers are not dead and are also at the half-step Kayahui realm, hiding somewhere in seclusion. 3 half-step Kayahui realm cultivators. The Great Qian Dynasty's foundation is terrifying. The envoys of various countries whispered among themselves, their tones full of awe. Standing on the head of the sea-suppressing turtle, Wang Teng's gaze penetrated the void, landing directly on Dongfang Liuli. Then he waved his hand grandly and said loudly, "The Great Qian Dynasty has also prepared generous gifts. Please, Your Majesty, accept them with a smile." Receiving the Empress's decree, we present the Ancient Forbidden's God Array Blueprint, a semi-immortal grade ancient halberd, 33 peak mountain moving realm demon beasts, and a bottle of heaven, an earth vitality elixir. To celebrate the birthday, Wang Teng intentionally channeled his energy into his voice. His voice echoed through every corner of the capital. The entire city fell silent, then erupted in an earth-shattering uproar. Are they crazy? What is the Great Qian Dynasty trying to do? Why give such generous gifts? You have to know that just one item from this list is considered a rare treasure in the world, a minister exclaimed. The Heaven and Earth Vitality Elixir is a priceless treasure. It can extend one's lifespan. The three rulers of the Great Qian Dynasty, the reason they are not truly dead is because of this treasure. Such a profound foundation, how can it be given away so easily? However, sitting on the throne, the Empress Dongfang Liuli had cold eyes, snorting coldly. She locked eyes with Wang Teng across the space. Then Wang Teng groaned, blood seeping from the corners of his eyes. You dare to look directly at the emperor? Do you not understand such a principle? Dongfang Liuli said sternly. Considering today's joyous occasion, I'll spare you this once. If you dare to offend again, I will not be lenient. Wang Teng wiped the blood from the corners of his eyes, his face calm, slightly bowing. I obey the Empress's decree. Dongfang Liuli waved her hand, her voice carried out of the golden Luan Hall. Accept the gifts, enter the hall, and tell your turtle to retract its head. Don't scare my people. Soon, order was restored. The giant head of the sea-suppressing turtle retracted back into the void. Wang Teng descended into the capital and entered the golden Luan Hall. In the golden Luan Hall, Wang Teng smiled, hands behind his back, calmly saying, I believe the Empress has seen the sincerity of the Great Qian Dynasty. My visit here is not just to celebrate the birthday, but also, before he could finish his sentence, a soaring sword intent pierced through the 9 heavens, seemingly about to split the sun in two. The rules of heaven and earth were disturbed, falling into chaos. A bronze ancient sword, 100 feet long, hung across the sky, and a middle-aged man with long hair called out loudly. The Forbidden Swordland pays a visit. I am Jian Jianshan, a disciple of the Lord of the Forbidden Land, presenting a handwritten piece by a Kea Hui realm sword cultivator to the Empress. To celebrate the birthday. Before the echoes faded, another commotion arose. At the end of the world, from thousands of miles away, came a vast wave of blood energy. The sound spreading to the capital, Mo Wuyi, the third prince of the Blood Sea Empire, presents 10 early sea overturning realm blood puppets. To celebrate the Empress's birthday, a young man with disheveled long hair appeared above the capital, a vast sea of blood energy making it hard to breathe. But it didn't end there. From the 4 directions of the capital, arrived 4 young supremes with terrifying auras, all from powerful countries or great forces. The purpose of the 7 supremes was singular, to seek the Empress's hand in marriage. Simply put, they came to vie for the one bearing the space-time sword intent, capable of splitting into 3 sea overturning realm sword cultivators, possessing the archaic holy body, invincible at the same level, with mid-moon radiance realm combat power, your wife.